anything, Akash. I'm not
Okay,
feeling well, so I didn't touch anything.
okay, no problem. Others, Karthik, Dilip.
Yeah, yeah, because that one of the doubt is there. So you said that availability set to another person, virtual machine. So we can create that availability set while you are creating that virtual machine. No? After that, we can't.
But there should be a workaround for everything, right? Can you think about anything which you can do? I don't need the exact VM. I just need the data in the VM. So can I do something about it?
Sir, hello.
Yeah, Dilip.
Sir, how to change VNet, sir?
First, answer my question. How can you change the availability set first? How can I add an availability set to an existing VM?
We can't, sir.
There should be a way, right? What I mean to say here is I don't need the exact VM. Okay, I need the data inside the VM. Is there a way I can do that? Think. Okay, how many of you created the backup and created the restoration? Then you would have got the answer to the second question, Dilip, if you have done that. The third one is how to move a data disk from one resource group to another resource group.
For second one, we can't change. You did not explain that one, sir. VNet we can't change in virtual machine.
No, did you try to do the backups restoration?
Backup is done, sir. Of work is done.
Did you do the restoration? Yes or no, Dilip?
No.
Okay. When you do it, you will see there is an option called VNet. Okay. When you're creating the restoration, so let's say this is your VM. Okay. Let's go to
Your
the.
screen is not visible.
My screen is not visible. Okay. Do you see it now?
No, it's only blank only.
Karthik?
Yeah, I can see.
You can see.
Yeah, it's visible for me also.
Okay. Quickly rejoin, Dilip. I'll just wait for you. Quickly rejoin.
Okay.
I have taken backup yesterday the configuration you shown. So
Yeah.
that re-registration, that one I didn't it.
Restoration.
Yeah.
Restoring the VM from the backup.
Yes, yes.
So that is I showed you yesterday, right?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
You are going very fast, sir. Little bit slow, sir.
Where I'm not saying anything now.
Last classes also same, sir. That's why I was.
Why didn't you raise it earlier then? I keep asking you whether you are clear or not.
From today onwards, you need to go slow, sir.
Okay, sure.
Uh,
Fine. Okay, so I'll just tell you what restoration is. So basically, when you're creating your backup, are you able to see the screen, guys?
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes, Akash.
Fine. When you're taking a backup, if something goes wrong in the future, you restore that VM or you can take a copy of that using the restoration process. Okay. So that is why we use the restoration process. So if you see this option here, restore VM. Okay. So here you should be able to see the restore points. Okay. Restore points, and so this is one of my restore points which has happened today. Okay, and I can either create a new VM or existing VM. So the second task was basically to change the VNet of my virtual machine. So here, see, this is virtual network, right? So I am able to choose between options. So if I have multiple VNets, let's say I have more than one VNets, okay, one VNet, then I will be able to see other VNets as well, and I can deploy this existing setup into this particular VNet. Okay, so what happens is whatever data is there in the VM, okay, it is going to be transferred and the VNet will automatically change. Okay, so this is how you do the second one. Okay, first one takes some more time. We have done this already. Okay, so I just want you guys to think for some more time and then probably come to a conclusion. Okay, I'm not going to help you with that. Just give it some time. You should be able to figure out yourself on your own. Figure that out on your own. Okay, so yeah, 1 minute. Let me do a small cleanup of these things. Fine. So today's concept, what we are going to discuss is, we are going to discuss about something called load balancers. Okay. So a load balancer is basically, it balances your traffic. Okay. So a load balancer, it's like a device. Okay. It's a device which is going to route traffic on your backend servers. Okay. So let's say I have 3 VMs. Okay. Let's say I have 3 VMs serving the same website. Okay. Same example. This is web server 1 and this is web server 2. Okay. And this is web server 3. Okay. So I have 3 different VMs serving the same website. Okay. I'll just give you a scenario. This is having a URL. Okay. This is having a URL. Let's say, let me give an IP 61.121.21. Okay. And this is having an IP of a different IP. Okay. 23, and this is having an IP of 26. Okay, 3 different IPs. Okay, if I hit on these IPs, let's say I do this, I am going to get a page. Okay, a page will load. Okay, I will show you how to configure that. No need to worry about that right now. Okay, a page will come up here. Okay, so for example, if I do 8.8.8, okay, if I do that, I'll be redirected to a particular website. Okay, similarly, similar to that, I should be able to be redirected to a particular website. Okay, so I have 3 different websites: website 1, website 2, website 3, but all are serving the same content. Okay, just imagine it to be like that. Okay, so I have a team, okay, which is consisting of 100 users. Okay, 100 end users will be accessing this website on a day-to-day basis. So what happens? I have not planned this well. What I did, I gave few users this particular URL. Let's say few means 45 users I have given this particular URL. Okay, and then 15 users I have given this particular URL. Okay, 15 users this particular URL, and 45, 50, 60, 40 more. Okay, so another 40 more users I have given this URL. Okay, so let me put it even more, a higher load on this 65, and let's make it as 30. 20. Okay, so 65, 15, 20. Okay, question to you guys is the load on each of the server equal? Okay, that is the first question. Is the load equal on each of the server? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Okay, which VM has the highest load?
1.
The first one has the highest load, right? So 65 users are connecting, so obviously the load will be more. 15 users are connecting, it will be less, and this will be further less. So in order to remove all this, okay, we are going to use something called a load balancer. Okay, wherein all your 100 users will be having this URL. Okay, URL/IP address. Okay, they will be having this particular URL, everyone will be contacting this load balancer, and the load balancer will be responsible for routing the traffic to your backend servers. Okay, it will be responsible for routing the traffic to your backend servers. That means if someone reaches out to your load balancer, okay, it is going to route the traffic to your backend server. Okay, so what this becomes is, this becomes front end, this becomes your backend. Okay, that is pretty much how your load balancer is going to work. If you have to relate a term to your load balancer, we can call it as single point DNS entry. Okay, single point DNS entry, where all your users are going to connect to this. They are not going to reach out to the server. Okay, they are going to connect directly to this, and this will reroute to your web server. Okay, so that is the role of your load balancer. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much with respect to your load balancer. Okay, so it is a single point DNS entry. It is used to distribute traffic equally, okay, onto your website. Okay, now when we talk about load balancers, we have two different types of load balancers. Okay, one is called load balancer, or we can call it network load balancer. Okay, the second one is called application gateway. Okay, the first one is network load balancer, the second one is application gateway. There is quite a few difference between your network load balancer and application gateway. The first and foremost difference is, this is a layer 4. It will work on the layer 4 of your OSI model. Okay, any of you know the OSI model? Felix, I hope you will know.
The transport layer is the fourth layer of OS.
Exactly. Okay, so layer 4, and this is layer 7. Layer 7 is
Application layer.
okay. So there is yeah. So application layer, and this is going to be my transport layer. Okay. So if you want to know more about OSI model, you can just Google it. There are 7 different layers. Okay, and each one of them has a particular functionality. This link is pretty good for you to understand what a OSI model is. Okay, but in your interview, if they're asking questions related to what is the difference between a network load balancer and application load balancer, it's quite simple. Network load balancer works on layer 4 traffic. This works on layer 7 traffic. Okay, so what type of traffic it is going to work on? TCP, UDP, TLS. Okay, these are the 3 different types: TCP, UDP, and TLS type of traffic, and this is directly going to work on HTTP and HTTPS kind of traffic. Okay, so that is the major difference between your network load balancer and application load balancer. As we progress during the demo, yeah.
What is TLS?
TLS is transport layer security. That is basically it's an extended version of TCP with security.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So as we progress, you'll understand more differences between your network load balancer and your application gateway. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, we are going to deploy a load balancer with respect to the first one, which is your network load balancer. Network load balancer is divided into 2 types. Okay, it is a very simple division. It is basic and standard. Okay, I don't know why they have done this. Okay, basic, it is quite I don't know, I don't see the reason why they had to do it, but I will explain you this as well. So the basic load balancer, you can the backend servers. Okay, we talked about the backend, right? These are my backend servers. Okay, the backend servers can only be the VM. Okay, can only be the virtual machines. It cannot be any other things. Okay, the backend VMs, okay, should be either part of an availability set or a VMSS. Okay, so this is the only criteria. Okay, and it should have a basic public IP. Okay, it should not have a standard public IP. It should have a basic public IP in order for it to work on this particular load balancer. Okay, so that is the one and only requirement for having a basic load balancer. Okay, and standard, it is not necessary that it should be part of availability set. It works on standalone VMs as well. Okay, that means single VMs. It will work on that. Okay, and you can have other HTTP backend servers and everything. Okay, you'll understand more in demo. Okay, but first I'm going to create a basic load balancer. Okay, you will see how that is going to work. Okay, so first and foremost thing which I need to create is I need to create an availability set with 2 virtual machines. Okay, this is done. Fine. Okay, so going here, one of them is deleted. So let's see. What I need to do is, okay, let me put it this way. I'm going to create 2 virtual machines, okay, with an availability set and without any public IP. Okay, so I'm going to do this. So I'll create a new resource group. Okay, RG2 resource group 2, and I am going to deploy a Windows machine. Okay, so Windows 1. Okay, this is going to be my Windows Server 1, West US 3, 2016 data center. Okay, and it should be part of availability set method of deployment. Okay, I'm going to create a new availability set. Okay, give it a name AS1 and 2 fault domains and 5 update domains. Okay, give it a username and password. Okay, and make sure, since it's going to run a website, make sure it is of a bit higher size. Okay, at least have 2 vCPUs and 16 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, make sure the size is a bit bigger than the ones we used before. Okay, click on next. Okay, you can use premium SSD, go to management, the VNets and stuff. Okay, and here public IP, make it as none. Okay, do not assign a public IP to this particular virtual machine. Okay, do not have a public IP. Then you can skip all the other things. Okay, review and create. Okay, so basically we are creating a 2016 virtual machine in an availability set. Okay, in an availability set. So quick question, what is an availability set? Anyone can answer. Guys,
Availability set is used to group more than one VMs at a time.
okay. And explain the concept of availability set. Guys, anyone? Please, simple concept. Come on.
Availability set actually it is used for that fault domain and update domain. It can be 3 fault domain and it would be 20 update domain.
Okay.
So
To prevent hardware
but it
failures
is
from
used for actually schedule maintenance for web domain.
What is fault domain? Okay, fine. That's okay. So I'm creating the second server. Okay, I'll just be back. Okay, just give me. I'll just show you this and then I'll be back. So 2016 data center again. This particular server. Okay, and username and password. Okay. Once you're done with this, go to next, and here it should be part of the same VNet. Okay, it should be part of the same VNet, and I don't want a public IP to this as well. Okay, so there is a reason behind it. So once we finish creating it, we should be able to see it. Okay, so I'm creating 2 virtual machines of the same size, same region, same VNet. Okay, and it is part of the availability set. I have put it on the availability set method of deployment. Okay, coming back, Karthik, what is fault domain?
is it physical place of keeping our server racks.
It's a physical domain. Sorry, its fault domain is that it's at least that three backend server. It would be it's physically isolated. So it's supposed to be not connection of each other.
Did you Google it? It's okay if you Googled it. That is the exact definition that is there. Okay, fine. So fault domain is basically logical grouping of resources wherein if you are deploying more than 2 VMs, okay, if they are kept in fault domain, they will not be sharing the same network supply or power supply. They are physically isolated from each other. Okay, that is fault domain. And update domain is nothing but it is also a logical grouping wherein no two update domains will reboot at the same time. Okay, so that is the concept of fault and update domain. Fine. So I've created two virtual machines. Okay, today I'm going to teach you something new. Okay, um, how to deploy via Cloud Shell. Okay, how are you going to deploy your resources via Cloud Shell? Okay, so Cloud Shell is a very powerful tool. Okay, it is via scripts you can deploy your whatever is required, you can just deploy it via Cloud Shell. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to deploy IIS. Okay, IIS stands for Internet Information Service. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it here step by step. I'm going to use Cloud Shell. Okay, I have a script already, okay, which is going to deploy IIS on the machine, okay, which will make the machine a website. Okay, so basically I'm deploying a script to make my machine, virtual machine, a website. Okay, so that is pretty much what I am going to do. Okay, so the script. Okay. Okay, this is going to be my script. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. Okay, so this is going to create a IAS extension on the virtual machine. Okay, first I need to give the resource group name. That is the first and foremost thing that is asked. So what is the resource group name? Go to your machine. Okay, and pick up the resource group name. Okay, resource group name, it is rg2. Okay, so just copy that and paste it here. Okay, once you're done with that, this will remain as it is. The extension which you are going to deploy is IAS. Okay, the VM name is Windows 1. Okay, so you need to change that, Windows 1, and the region where you have deployed is West US 3. Okay, West US 3, and everything else remains as it is. Okay, so do a Control A. Okay, copy that and paste it in the Cloud Shell. Okay, Cloud Shell, you see this here, just open this particular thing. This will open and click on create storage. It will create a storage for you to run the script. Okay, so that is what it is basically doing. Okay, so it will create a storage account using which you can run whatever scripts you are installing. Okay, so I'll quickly explain in the script. It is going to basically install IAS on this particular virtual machine. IAS is basically, it is a Windows feature which will help you to create a website. Okay, so we are directly doing that, and if you see here, it is going to go to this particular place and it is going to output a value of the computer name. Okay, it is going, the final output is going to be the computer name. Okay, so that is what this particular script is going to do. So I am opening Cloud Shell, okay, and that will help me to deploy my script. I'm going to paste this. And this will run for some time, and you should be able to have your IAS installed on this particular virtual machine. Okay, so just give it some time. Once we have an output, we should be able to see it. Okay, meanwhile, can someone tell me how to open port 80 on this particular virtual machine? Okay, can someone tell me how to open port 80 on this particular virtual machine? Anyone? Guys, anyone, please. Symbol. Port 80. How to open port 80 on the virtual machine? Felix.
Sorry, Akash, I forgot.
Sorry.
Sorry, Akash, I forgot.
Okay. Delete. Dilip, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. How do you open port 80 on the virtual machine?
Don't know.
How do you open port 3389 on your virtual machine?
That is with the help of RDP, no?
Yeah. Karthik?
We can go to networking and inbound port rules. So you can go through that, and there you can allow port number 80.
Awesome. Okay. So add inbound rule. Okay. And the source can be any, destination can be any. The service here is going to be HTTP. Okay. We are going to enable HTTP on this particular server. Okay. So this is HTTP that is going to work on port 80. Okay. And that is going to have a priority of 310. Okay. Click on add, and we have enabled port 80 on this particular virtual machine. Okay. So here what happened is I have I am able to see that this particular script has been succeeded. That means my website is up and running. Okay. So what I am going to do here is this particular VM, I am going to attach a basic public IP address. Okay, I'm going to attach a basic public IP address. So I'll go to public IP. Okay, go here, click on create public IP address. Okay, and IPv4, it is going to be a basic one. Okay, and the name of the IP. Okay, basic Windows 1. Okay, this is for my Windows, so I'm going to put it as basic Windows 1. It is on RG2 and West US 3. Okay, so basically I am creating a basic public IP address on RG2. Okay, so that will help me to attach to the virtual machine which I have. Okay, so that is the basic one. Okay, if I had created while creation time, that would have given me a standard public IP. Okay, and that I don't want. I want a basic public IP address. Okay, so that is why I'm doing this. Similarly, I'm going to do the same for this second virtual machine. Okay, I'm just going to change the script and put it as Windows 2. Okay, rest everything is going to stay as it is. Okay, Control C, and I'm going to go back to the Cloud Shell. Okay, and I will deploy this particular script. Okay. Right click, paste. Okay, click on enter. So this is going to deploy uh, IAS on my second machine. Okay, so how am I going to attach this basic public IP address? Click on associate, the network interface, okay, and which VM I want to be installed. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Click on OK. So understood what I did here? I just created a basic public IP address and attached it to the virtual machine. Clear?
Yes, yes.
You see here, once I have the public IP address, I query it here because since I have port 80 open, okay, I am able to see the output of my Windows server. Okay, so that is the script doing this particular task. Okay, so that is going to output the VM name, which is Windows 1. Similarly, for the other virtual machine, I'm going to do the same step. Okay, I'm going to create a new one. Okay, this is going to be a basic SKU again. Okay, Windows 2 and basic. Okay, and resource group name and the location. Okay, all this is done. Click on create, and again the same process, just attach it to the virtual machine network interface card. Okay, so that is also going to give me an output called Windows 2. Okay, so this is the case of the first one, wherein each one of you had a different URL. Okay, and you are all able to access it in a different way. That does not do justice on the load of the virtual machine. Some VM will have a higher load, some will have a lower load. Okay, rather it would be better if we have a load balancer in place. Okay, so remember I had put this particular thing on the availability set. Okay, so in order to have this basic load balancer working, you need to put it in the availability set. Without putting that in the availability set, you cannot create a basic load balancer. Okay, so the resource type is network interface. Okay, and I am going to associate to the Windows 2 virtual machine. Okay, click on save. Once this is done, I should be able to see the second website. But will I be able to see or not? That is the question. Let's see if you can answer. Will I be able to see the same thing or not? Guys, the question is to you.
So that port 8 is supposed to be open for that server.
Awesome, that is correct. Okay, so I have not opened port 80 on this particular VM, so I need to do that. Then only I will be able to access it. Okay, guys, clear with that? Felix, Dilip.
Yeah, yes, Akash, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is done. Okay. Yeah, so even the Windows 2 is working. Okay, are you guys clear till this part? Any doubts? Anything which you're not clear about? So we use Cloud Shell to deploy the script, okay, and then we opened port 80 for HTTP, okay, and then we created a basic public IP address, and we have two machines, two standalone machines. These are not part of load balancer yet. We are yet to create a load balancer, okay. These are two standalone virtual machines which are working perfectly fine as a website. Are you guys clear with this? Any doubts?
Yes, yes, that's clear. But it is created with one available set.
On the same availability set, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on. The next concept is we are going to create the load balancer. Okay, so we will go ahead and create the load balancer. Okay. So search for load balancers. Okay. So here you have the load balancer. Okay. And you also have the application gateway. So click on create load balancer. Okay. Give the subscription, give the source group name. Okay. And the name of the load balancer. Okay. You can give it as basic load balancer. Okay. And that is in West US 3. And this is going to be basic in nature. Okay. It is not standard. It's not a gateway. It is going to be a basic load balancer. Okay. And it is public facing. That means anyone from via the internet should be able to access it. So we are going to put public facing. Also, you will have internal load balancers as well. Okay. So this is a public load balancer and the tier is regional tier. Okay. Now you need to configure the front end IP. Okay, since it is a basic load balancer, okay, the front end IP should also be a basic IP. Okay, so what I will do is front end one, and I will create a new public IP. Okay, so it is a basic one, tier is going to be regional, and it is going to be static. Okay, so basic LB IP, basic load balancer IP. Click on OK. Okay, and click on add. Okay, so I have created a basic front end IP. Front end is nothing but the IP where all the users are going to reach out to. This is front end. This is back end. The load balancer, all the users will be reaching out to this particular IP address. So this is my front end. So that is what I did. Now I need to add a backend pool. Backend pool is nothing but collection of my backend servers. Okay, so I'm going to create a new backend pool. Okay, so backend pool number one, and I am going to give a VNet. Okay, and I will add the virtual machines. Okay, so both the virtual machines are here. I will click on add and I will click on save. Okay, so basically I just added both my virtual machines, Windows 1 and Windows 2, to the backend pool. Okay, now the load balancing rule. How do you want the load balancing to happen? Okay, so it is basically you have created a front end, you have created a back end. It is connecting these two. Okay, so give the front end IP, select the backend pool. Okay, done. The next one is going to be which port it is going to access. The front end port and the backend port is on port 80, and you will have to select a health probe. You'll have to select a health probe. So give HP1. The protocol which it is going to use is TCP protocol on port 80 for every 5 seconds. What that means is every 5 seconds your load balancer is going to send signal to your backend server asking them whether they are healthy or not. If they are not healthy, let's say for some reason they are unhealthy, okay, they are unhealthy, the traffic will not be routed to your load balancer. Okay, so that is the reason for having a health probe. It will keep on asking your load balancer for every 5 seconds. The interval here is 5 seconds. It will keep on asking your load balancer whether you are healthy or not. Okay, and if at some point it fails, the health check fails, then it will declare your virtual machine to be unhealthy. Okay, so that is the reason for your health probe. Okay, and click on add. So basically you have created a load balancing rule. Outbound rule is not required. Okay, outbound rule is not required. Tags, review and create. Okay, so basically you are creating a front-end IP, a back-end pool and an inbound rule. Okay, these are the three things which you are creating for your load balancer. Okay, that is how you create a basic load balancer. Any doubts, anything which you're not clear about?
That's that health probe you told, no?
Yeah.
For example, if I am logging into Indian Bank website, Indian Bank net banking website,
Which one?
Indian Bank website.
Okay.
Uh, while I am typing the URL, it is showing the site cannot be reached.
That means
Again,
all
I am refreshing,
are down.
and after 5 seconds, it is getting
Correct.
like that only. Am I correct? The
Correct,
concept
correct.
is correct, no?
Correct. So you're reaching to an unhealthy website. That is why it is showing you an error, HTTP error of 404 or something. Okay.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then once you're doing another request, it is going to a healthy server.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, done. So it has been created. Okay, I have a front end IP, okay, which I am going to use to access my load balancer. Okay, so this is my IP. I'm going to put it here and I am reaching out to the second server. Okay, so if I keep on changing this, if I keep on trying multiple attempts, or if I try from a different browser, okay, I should also see the first server. Okay, I should also see, yeah, see here I am seeing Windows 1, here I am seeing Windows 2. That means the traffic is getting distributed among my backend servers. Okay, and if you guys are trying at your end, you will see different answers. One of you will see a Windows 1 VM, one of you will see a Windows 2 VM. Okay, so that is the concept of basic load balancer. Okay, this is how your basic load balancer is going to work. Any doubts, anything which you're not clear about? Dilip, are you clear? If you're not clear, please ask. Please stop me there so that I can repeat it. Moving on, the other one which I'm going to do right now is I'm also going to create a standard load balancer. The steps are same. Okay, the steps are exact same. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to disassociate this. Okay, I'm going to delete this particular thing. Okay, so before that I'll have to delete my load balancer. Okay, basic load balancer, this is the concept, guys. You have a front end IP, you take the IP address, you try to search, you will be redirected to either of those two websites, one or two. Okay, so depending on which one you have given, depending on that, it will either redirect to one or first server or the second server. Okay, so that is pretty much with respect to your basic load balancer. Okay, standard load balancer, the concept is quite similar. Okay, so I will just disassociate my public IPs. Okay, I'll disassociate the basic public IP. Okay, so go here, go to the public IPs. Okay, go to the public IPs and disassociate it from the load balancer. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, will not happen. Or deleted load balancer. Okay, so I can delete this particular IP also. I don't need this anymore, so I'll go ahead and delete this. Okay, so I have deleted my basic public IP. I'm going to create the same exact thing for standard. The difference is these needs to be part of the availability set. On standard, it is not, it need not be part of the availability set. Okay, so that is pretty much the difference between these two. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go ahead and create an application gateway. Okay, this was reset, right? Okay, fine. Click on create application gateway. Okay, and the resource group, select your resource group. Okay, and the app gateway name. Okay, app gateway 1. The region is going to be West US 3. Okay, West US 3. Tier is going to be standard tier and no auto scaling. Okay, we are not going to do auto scaling wherein the VM count will be increased and decreased depending on the capacity. We are not going to do that. Okay, and we are going to select the VNet which we want. Okay, and the subnet. Okay, here one thing about the application gateway is it needs to have an empty subnet. Okay, it needs to have a subnet which is empty only for an application gateway. So what I'm going to do is, don't worry too much about it. Okay, just go to your VNet. Okay, go to your VNet, click on your subnets. Okay, and click on add subnet. Okay, app gateway subnet. Okay, app gateway subnet. Sorry guys, I'm really sorry. No, we were supposed to create a standard load balancer. I'm creating an application gateway, sorry. So we are going to create a standard load balancer. Okay, just forget what I said. Okay, just we are going to create a standard load balancer instead of a basic one. Okay, select your resource group, give the name for the standard load balancer. Okay, standard LB1, the region and the type is going to be standard and it is public in nature. Okay, so give the front end IP configuration again. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing whatever we did for the basic load balancer. Okay, so front end IP1, you need to choose your public IP. So PIP1 and click on OK. So you're just creating the same exact thing what you did previously. Okay, front end IP, you're going to create a backend pool. Okay, you're going to call it the same thing, BP1. Select your VNet and the NIC. Okay, so click on add, select your virtual machines. Even though they are part of the availability set, doesn't matter. It will work on standard as well. Okay, apart from this, inbound rules. Okay, same thing you're going to do, load balancing rules. Okay, and give the front end IP. It cannot have a space. So yeah, the front end IP address, the backend pool which you have created earlier. Okay, and the port. The port is again port 80. Backend port is also 80, and the health probe which you want. Okay, so same thing which you're going to do. Health probe 1. The protocol is going to be TCP port 80 and every 5 intervals. Okay, so you have done front end IP, backend pool, and inbound. Okay, go ahead, review and create. Okay, so the steps are same, only difference is this needs to be part of the availability set and that need not be part of the availability set. Okay, so for basic it needs to be part of the availability set, for standard it does not need to be part of the availability set. Are you clear with the differences between a standard load balancer and a basic load balancer? This is the only difference between these two. Okay, so yeah, once this is done, you will have a public IP again. You just try to do it, search for it. You should be able to see that here. Okay, same setup, same everything is going to work. Okay, so that is with respect to the standard load balancer. Are you guys clear with this? Anything you're not clear about? Just forget about the part where I had gone to application gateway. I just got carried away. So I was about to create a standard load balancer, but I ended up creating an application gateway. Okay, just forget about that. Standard load balancer is very similar to how you create a basic load balancer. Okay, so just yeah, that is the only difference. Only thing is this is part of an availability set or a VMSS. This is not part of an availability set or VMSS. Okay, Felix, Karthik, clear? Felix, I didn't hear you. What?
Yes, Akash, it's clear.
Karthik?
Yeah, so that standard load balancer we supposed to not set up for availability set. Without availability set, we can.
It will work with and without an availability set.
Okay.
Either ways, it's going to work. Dilip, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once this is ready, okay, I have the front end IP again. I'm just going to pick this up, okay, copy this and paste it here, okay. And once I search here, I should be either redirected to Windows 1 or Windows 2. Okay, I'm redirected to Windows 1. I will try from a different browser. Okay, I'll try from a different browser. Let's see what happens. I am redirected to Windows 1 again. Okay, so if you are going to try, probably you will be getting Windows 2 because probably my connection has been detected. Okay, so if you give it a try, I think you should be getting Windows 2. Okay, so this is how your load balancer, your basic network load balancer is working. Okay, this is what happens in the backend. Are you guys clear with this?